Are you able to see my screen, the Google map? Yeah, you may put in the chat box. Yeah, okay. Thank you. So we will start. Maybe this is getting recorded, so later I would probably post this in the Facebook also for more friends to see. So essentially Hampi, how this is how it looks on a satellite map. So we will start from the main attraction, that is Hampi Bazaar. Hampi Bazaar is a kilometer-long bazaar which is wide, with pavilions on both the sides, single floor, double-storied, multiple-storied. Yeah. So this 1 kilometer long Hampi Bazaar is the center of attraction in Hampi, or can be considered the center point, and around which many things are organized. At the western end of Hampi Bazaar is Virabhadra Temple. So Virabhadra Temple, I am yet to profile it in my journey, in this 30 episode series on Hampi. But Virabhadra Temple is an amazing attraction, which is luckily largely intact. For some reason, it didn't face any destruction. The reasons are still, mystical, or, not known how it escaped the ravage. It has a tall gopuram, which is typical of all the Hampi materials and the promotional materials, etc. You see that Virabhadra Temple gopuram, which was done around 1510 CE during the times of Krishna Devaraya. And this Virabhadra Temple has a couple of gopurams and a large temple complex, largely intact, and Pushkarani, as you can see here. Yeah, so that is the Pushkarani, and then that gopuram leads us to the river Tungabhadra. So this is Tungabhadra river that is flowing just north of the temple. At the other end of Hampi Bazaar is a Nandi statue, which is quite big, and that leads the way to other attractions of Hampi. And just to highlight, the first one is, of course, the Matanga Hill. So here you can see Matanga Hill, which is the tallest point in Hampi. The east end of Hampi Bazaar is the one of the two accesses to trek up to Matanga Hill. The climb is moderate. I would say it's moderate to difficult, but that is the only path that we have to go up the hill, and there is a Virabhadra Temple, and it's pretty good for viewing sunset and sunrise. Then when we cross on the further east side, you reach the Vitalaraya Temple. This Vitalaraya Temple view from the top of Matanga Hill is something phenomenal. That is something that you can behold for hours together. It is something not to be missed. So the whole difficulty of climbing up Matanga Hill is worth with the views that it affords all around the Hampi. A 360-degree view, because this is the tallest point, as I told you, in Hampi. So on the eastern side, you have Vitalaraya Temple, which is one of the largest and one of the most beautiful temples of Hampi. And on the northern side, you see the Tungabhadra river, across the river, Anjanadri and Anagunti area. The Kodantrama Temple, Yantrodharaga Temple may not be visible from Matanga Hill, but that is where the north is. But the view of Tungabhadra river and the typical, the boulder-strewn topography of Hampi, Kishkinda is amazing. On the western side, you see Hampi Bazaar and Virabhadra Temple. And on the southern side, you see the royal quarters and the entire Hampi, the noblemen's quarters, royal square, and, all other places. So the view from the top of Sorry, the view from the top of Matanga Hill is just out of the world. So I would encourage you to climb up Matanga Hill if you happen to go to Hampi, which I would encourage you to do at least once a lifetime. In front of Vitilaraya Temple, there is a large bazaar, and all these bazaars were supposed to be the dedicated places where trade was prospering like anything in the 14th, 15th, 16th centuries. We are talking 500, 600 years ago. And all these, the Hampi Bazaar, which is more than a kilometer long, with pavilions on both the sides, single stories, double storied, even some places 3 stories. These were all, and then this Vitilaraya Bazaar, then Krishna Bazaar, then Vitalaraya Bazaar. These were all dedicated bazaars with wide avenues in between, dedicatedly trading in jewelry, diamonds, brocades, silk, all sorts of things, including horses and elephants. So this Vitilaraya Bazaar is a grand one. It is very, very wide and amazing. Some of the pavilions has withstood the destruction, so you can still see there now. And this is one of the many pushkaranis that you see in Hampi. Just a reality check. I mean, am I audible? And is this Google map clearly visible? Can you type in? Yes, we can see in the chat box. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so you are able to see the, can you, yeah, you can see. Okay, great. Let's keep going. So this Vitilaraya Bazaar is an amazing one, at the end of which there is a Varahaswamy temple. Kodandarama Temple. I would like you to, focus here on the Kodandarama Temple here. Why is it? Yeah, now the picture is clear. This Kodandarama Temple is a special one because it has large murtis, 6-7 feet tall, Rama, Lakshmana, Sita, and Sugriva for a change. And here, these murtis are supposed to have been done by Sugriva himself. Hampi, again, to take you back ancient times, Hampi is the Kishkinda of Ramayana, where Rama and Lakshmana came and got in touch with Sugriva and all the other parts of Vali, Sugriva, Lakshmana, Hanuman, Jambo, and all those places. All those things happened in Kishkinda. And this has, and one more thing I would like you to, notice is that Hampi, or the other side of Tungabhadra, which is Anagunti, has 4 billion years of recorded history. Yeah, 4 billion years. And you could verify the reports in the web. There are many data information is available in the net. 4 billion years of continuous history in this place. And this was Kishkinda during Ramayana times, and more recently Hampi in our times, which is 500, 600, 700 years ago. And this also was referred to as Pampapura during 3 BC before Christ. That is during Ashoka times. Ashoka, chronicled these parts of Hampi as Pampapura. And then during Hoysala times, Rashtrakuta times, and recently during Vijayanagara times, it came to prominence. So this Kodandarama temple, coming back to this is a temple that is done by Sugriva himself. And just above that, in terms of elevation, is Yantrodharaga Hanuman Temple. So this is a view from Yantrodharaga Hanuman Temple of the river Tungabhadra. Yantrodharaga Anjaneya Temple, why is it important? It is important it's famous for 2 reasons. One, this is the place it seems Rama met Hanuman for the first time. And Ramayana goes like this. Rama and Lakshmana were walking through after meeting Shabari, which is on the other side of the river, Pampa Tirtha. Even today it is there. And after that, they crossed the river and they were walking on the riverside when Sugriva noticed them, and he sent Hanuman to meet them. So Yantrodharaga Hanuman Temple is the exact place where Hanuman has met Rama and Lakshmana. And also this place is important for the second reason, that here the Hanuman is in a meditative stage. Hanuman, the deity, is inside a chakra, and he is in a meditative state, which is again a very unique feature. So how do we get there? The best way to get there is walking from east end of Hampi Bazaar. So this walkway that I am moving the cursor, this takes us through this series of mandapas here. It's a beautiful place. I mean, amazing place. This mandapas here, the entire mandapas, very long. It must be half a kilometer long almost, or 300, 400 meters long at least. These are mandapas for people to rest, the pilgrimage, the pilgrims and the people to rest. And that just next to that is Rendodaga Hanuman Temple and the Kodandarama Temple. After that, you come here and you continue walking this way. I will take you to a few places here and then, further south. So this place is Sugriva Cave. So what is Sugriva Cave? So Sugriva Cave, this Matanga Parvata, Rishimuka area were not accessible to Vali due to a curse. So they took refuge here to escape from Vali. So here the Sugriva cave is there where Sugriva, Rama, Lakshmana, Hanuman, all of them supposed to have met and discussed strategies. It is still intact. One can walk up to there and see them. And further you go to the northeast, you come to a place which is the most famous place in Hampi, which is in the literature all over the place, Vitalaraya Temple. I would invite your attention to the directional knowledge of our ancestors who built this 500 years ago or 700 years ago. See, this is Vitalaraya Temple is supposed to have been started around late 14th century, built through the 14th century, and Krishna Devaraya during early 15th century gave some finishing touches. So here, the alignment, just look at the alignment. My screen is currently exact north. It is the true north, right? You can see the compass here. Look at the eastward facing temple. It is absolute east. So we need to appreciate the kind of instruments, the kind of signs that these people who have had 700 years ago to place the temple exactly in alignment. Not only Vitalaraya Temple, I will see you Patabhirama Temple, I will see you Krishna Temple, many more temples on southern side of Hampi Bazaar, which are truly, absolutely aligned to the east or to the north. In case of Achyutaraya Temple, it is aligned absolute north. So with the moving sun, all around the year, how they have figured out all this is something that I wanted to highlight. So here we have the Vitalaraya Bazaar, again an amazing grandeur, splendor of a bazaar, of a retail space, which is more than a kilometer long. And you see a Pushkarani here, which is a large one. This bazaar was also famous. Today, the vehicular traffic is not allowed here. Battery operated vehicles ply there, taking people from the parking lot here near Gajala Mandapa. So here in the Vitalaraya Temple, you see the famous stone chariot, which you must have seen, in many places. And then there is a Mahamantapa, which is four-sided. Then there is a Rangamantapa, which is having 56 musical pillars. Then Vitalaraya Temple, unfortunately, there is no Murti there. And most of the Hampi temples, there are no deities. It is all either plundered, destroyed, or removed. So there is no puja, there is no rituals happening at the moment, but these are all available for us to see what kind of architectural prowess, executional prowess, the attention to detail, and the science of architecture, engineering, execution skills that our ancestors had during these times, 300, 400, 500 years ago. So this is a place not to miss. Of course, you will not miss because Vitalaraya Temple is so famous. So further coming here, there is an Amarvar Temple here. And then here it is not marked here in this, but somewhere between ancient temple and two-story temple as it is marked in Google Map, we have King's Balance. So the King's Balance is just an arch with 15 feet tall pillars supporting a 12 feet beam. And this was used by the kings to weigh themselves, tulabhara, and then distribute the wealth to people during eclipses, coronation times, all those important times. So this entire stretch is best done, I would suggest, when you walk from east end of Hampi Bazaar up to Vitalaraya Temple through the riverside. It's an experience of a lifetime, I can tell you. This is the best way to go there. The alternate way is to drive from Virabhadra Temple all the way through a circuitous road and come to Vitalaraya Temple parking lot here, where the electric vans start and transport you here, or either you can walk as well. That is around 1 kilometer. But this 3-kilometer stretch from east end of Hampi Bazaar, from here through the the riverside, you can see Kodandarama Temple, you can see Yandrodarga Hanuman Temple, you can see the Ranganatha Temple, Sugriva Cave, King's Balance, and also Purandara Mandapa here. There is a Purandara Mandapa, and Purandara Das was a artist who lived, or a devotee. He was many things. Purandara Das also was a very, very successful trader in his early years. So he was a contemporary of Krishna Devaraya, that is early 16th century. So here in this Vitalaraya Temple, you could culminate this walk. And as we would prefer, many of us will walk back the entire stretch, or you can just go through and walk across, or take the electric van and take otherwise. But I can tell you, once you walk this riverside, you will not go and take another vehicle. You will as well, you may prefer to walk back. Now coming to the other attractions of Hampi, when you take a little walk up the hill next to Virabhadra Temple is Hemokura Hill. This Hemokura Hill has more than 20-25 temples and small things sprinkled all across. And this is a fantastic place to watch sunrise and sunset. How are we treading on the time? I think it is almost 20 minutes. I may take another 20 minutes. I think it is okay. Is it okay if I take another 20 minutes to describe this before opening up for Q&A? You can type "it's okay" in the chat box so that I get some, yeah, sure. Okay, yeah, thank you. So just south of Virabhadra Temple is Hemokura Hill. And Hemokura Hill temples are much more older. 9th century to 14th century. There are many, many temples here, sprinkled all across. Moola Virabhadra Temple. This is something that was even predating the current Virabhadra Temple. Moola Virabhadra Temple. This is supposed to have been there from ancient times. Current Virabhadra Temple itself is around 7th century. Yeah, it was modified later and expanded later by Vijayanagara kings, but Virabhadra Temple was there. And it is one more information that is worth knowing is that Virabhadra Temple is the oldest continuously serviced temple in the country. So from 7th century onwards, that is for the last 1300 years, this temple has been active, meaning there was no destruction, no stoppage of services, pujas, nothing. So it has been continuously active for more than 1300 years now. And this is considered the oldest functional temple in the country currently. But there could be others, but this is one of them. And then here, there are a lot of temples. There are a couple of Ganesha statues, Shashivekalu Ganesha, and so many things in Hemokura Temple. So Hemokura Hill, it's better we plan it towards the afternoon, evening type so that you could watch sunset from here. Just south of that further is Krishna Temple. Now look at the alignment of this temple. It is perfect east. And this was constructed in the year 1513, that is more than 500 years ago, just after Krishna Devaraya conquered Utkala Desha, that is current day Odisha. So to commemorate that, he built this temple. And again here, there is no deity here, but the deity Balakrishna of this temple is currently available in the State Museum in Chennai. So this is amazing temple, largely intact. The gopuras are damaged, but the temple is still amazing. Amazing sculpturing and great Krishna, typical of Vijayanagara style, tall, highly sculptured, decorated pillars and alleys and all that. This is Krishna Bazaar. Still, I need to tell you, Hampi has more than 1600 monuments so far discovered. Still many to be discovered, according to me. The reason is, as recent as in 1980, this entire bazaar and Pushkarini was not visible. In 1980, they were excavating this place for something else, and they discovered the pavilions and the whole bazaar, which is around 500 meters long, and this Pushkarini, which is fantastic, amazing Pushkarini, good in shape. So they removed the soil and the Pushkarini emerged. So Krishna Bazaar is here. It is slightly oriented southeast, but the temple is perfectly aligned to the east. Now, further coming here, you have Badavilinga, which is a large Shivalinga, which is in water. So this is an attraction in Hampi, and this is the famous Narasimha, which was completely destroyed, but it was reset and reestablished through its grandeur, not to the total grandeur, but still it is marvelous sight to behold. And here we have many temples here, and then I would take you now to the underground Shiva Temple. So underground Shiva Temple was unearthed again in 90s. Yeah, just 25-30 years ago. Someone was again, clearing the ground for something, and they bumped upon this marvelous temple. It is underground temple, so it is, as the name indicates, it is below the ground. So here, this is a Shiva temple, mostly in water up to 1 feet, 2 feet water. When we went there, it was 1 feet water in the Mahamandapa. It is full-fledged temple. Mahamandapa, then you have Rangamandapa, then Shuganashi and the Garbhagriha. May not be accessible all parts of the year, depending on the water levels. People say that the river water from Tungabhadra or the water from Kamalapura tank is keeping freshly circulating and keeping this place underwater most of the time. So this underground temple, Virupaksha Temple, Prasanna Virupaksha Temple is a place worth seeing. Then you come to nobleman's quarters, palaces. This entire place was the embassy of Krishna Devaraya or the Vijayanagara Samrajya times. So this entire place was where the dignitaries, emissaries from foreign lands and travelers, everyone used to stay. And here you can see the places like this now, just the base, because most of the superstructures were destroyed. They were either made of wood or such material which was burnt down, unfortunately, after the defeat of Vijayanagara in 1565 Talikota War. So the nobles' quarters here, there are many remnants, a lot of ruins of noble quarters, a very vast area. Then here we have, the mint. So here the mint and the quarters or the royal palace of Hariharavira, late 14th century. So the mint used to be the equivalent of maybe central banks of today, current days, and which used to print the currencies and, keep stock of all the wealth. And this is the palace of, Hariharavira and other, other kings that followed him, 15th, 16th century. One more aspect here is that when you visit this place, please look for the toilets, the modern day toilet equivalent of those days. So the toilets were very well developed, and it had a septic tank similar to what we have today. You need to go and see there to believe the kind of advancement that this generation of people had. This Hasarama temple is one of the earliest temples of Hampi during Vijayanagara times. That is late 14th century. Yeah, early 14th century, Hasarama temple. This has, by and large, things are intact. The sanctum, the Garbhagriha and around the courtyard. And the reliefs and the friezes here are one of the largest, one of the most sophisticated in the country. So Hasarama temple is something that one shouldn't miss. The royal enclosure, the Lakshmi temple, where the queens used to go, and here there is a Pushkarini just for their use. This is an amazing one, the stepwell sort of thing, accessible from four sides, absolutely symmetrical, amazing. And the orientation also, we need to see this Lakshmi temple, exact north and so on and so forth. And the Hasarama temple, though it was done early 14th century, or late 14th century rather. It's absolutely oriented towards east. Yeah, I just want to show you that. Look at the orientation of Hazarama Temple, absolute east. And here you have the Mahanavami Dibba. This is a big platform for witnessing, the parades and, the Navaratri, Dasara processions and all that. 500 years ago, I need to mind you. And this is a large platform, 36-meter tall and more than 300 square meter at the top. And it has reliefs of various traders, soldiers, and, processions and, all kinds. I think all of this takes a lot of time to go see, appreciate, and understand. Here you have the secret chamber, which is an underground chamber for secret meetings and things like that. A lot of underground corridors to reach here. And the chamber, which was in the middle of this entire underground facility, is today open to sky. It has been damaged. So one can still walk there, and these are all open to see. And Vijayanagara also had a very, very advanced water management system. Amongst the 30 episodes that I put, currently I think we are at 27, 3 more to go. The water management system of Hampi, which was one of my posts, one of the 30, that exceeded maximum reach. This water management system of Hampi post reached more than 100,000 people. And the total Hampi series has reached more than 1 million. Anyway, so the water management system consisted of aqueducts, multiple level tanks, so that from freshwater flow from one to another. Kamalapura tank is a man-made one. Then it consisted of many, many pushkaranis were all connected underground. Aqueducts over the ground, under the ground. Then you have baths, common baths, and canals, many canals, Raya Canal, Turtu Canal, still in use, which was done 500, 600, 700 years ago. All are there, still active, and we are using it for our benefit even today. That was the kind of planning, execution skills of those times. So now I need to fast forward a bit. The Queen's Bath here, I just wrote about it in the recent times. Then elephant stables and, many, many attractions there. Then coming to, I just wanted to cover a couple of places which I didn't want to miss today, is Patabhirama Temple, which is in Kamalapura. And look at the orientation here, Patabhirama Temple. This was done around 1540. That is, close to 500 years ago. This is massive. And this is one of the best temples of Hampi, not frequented much because it is a little away from the main attractions, 5-6 kilometers away. So, but I would encourage you not to miss this. And this Patabhirama Temple is an amazing temple. The mandapas, Mahamandapa, Rangamandapa, the Suganashi, the Garbhagriha areas are by and large intact, luckily. But still destruction is there with respect to the Gopurams and other places. There is a Pushkarani here of this temple. Malyavanta Temple is on top of a small hillock where Rama and Lakshmana stayed during the, immediately after the Vali Nigraha. So that cave is still there. And there is a Raghunatha temple there, which is built by Krishna during early 15th century. And Malyavanta Cave, Malyavanta Temple complex is quite attractive. The vehicle goes up to there, so you can just drive up. And the view from the top of this hill, somewhere here, there is a Shiva temple also behind. The view from here is a 360-degree view of Hampi again. It is like looking at the live map of Hampi. So you can take a view of the entire Hampi from the top of this Malyavanta hill. Then there is a Ganagati Jain temple, which is early or late 14th century, 1386 it was built. And Bhima Gate is one of the fortresses that was operational during Vijayanagara times. And then coming to here, there are a couple of temples here which you shouldn't miss is, slightly away from the happening places. Malpangudi Temple here. Malpangudi Temple is on the way from Hospet to Hampi, around 6-7 kilometers south-west of Hampi. Malpangudi Temple again is Vijayanagara times temple, and then Anandachaina Temple here. Anandachaina Temple is not featured much in the literature, so there is a high chance you miss it. We stumbled upon it by chance, so we were just fortunate to see it. Massive temple, amazing temple, 100 feet tall, and one of its kind. So that's where, now having heard all this, you must be wondering how you can cover all this in one visit. So what I would suggest is that I have a small planner here. I would just take you through a 4-day Hampi visit kind of an itinerary, which is quite hectic, but if you can cover it in 4 days, you can attempt doing that. If it is too hectic, you can split it into 2 visits. Hampi cannot be covered in 1 visit, according to our experience. Hampi needs to be visited a few times, and probably these 4 days schedule could be, covered over three days in 2 visits. So the first day, day 1, you could cover Krishna Bazaar, Krishna Temple, Pushkarani, Badavi Shivalinga and Narsimha, underground Shiva Temple, Palace, King's Quarters, Noble Quarters, that area, Lotus Mahal, Elephant Stable, and all that. Then the underground chamber, the Navaratri Dibba, the procession watching platform, swimming pool, the public pool, the stepped pool, which is royal, and Hazarama Temple, Queen's Bath, Vitalaraya Temple, which we saw at the eastern end of Hampi, and Virupaksha Temple also, and Hemokura Hill for the evening sunset view. This can keep you engaged from 9 to kind of 6:30 in the evening. Day 2, you can take it a little different. There won't be too much of walking in this, whereas in the day 1, there would be a lot of walking. The day 2, you can go to Tungavra Dam, which is around 20 kilometers away from Hampi, west of Hampi, a very large dam done on last century, that is 20th century. Anagunti Fort, the other side of Tungabhadra. We didn't see it in the Google map, but actually it is just the other side of Hampi. There is a 22-kilometer route that you need to take to go. Though it is just across the river, you can see Anagundi, you can see Chintamani, you can see Anjanadri and all that from Hampi, but there are no roads. So there is a bridge which is further east. So you need to take a 22-kilometer detour to go to the other side of the river. So you could look at Anagundi, Chintamani, a lot of attractions there. I am going to write about it maybe tomorrow as 28, post number 28 of 30. Anjanadri, which I just posted yesterday, which is the birthplace of Hanuman. Then on day 3, you have Hampi Bazaar, riverside walk, that 3 kilometers walk that we talked about, which will cover Kodandrama Temple, Endrodharga Hanuman Temple, Ranganatha Temple, Sugriva Temple, King's Balance. All of this will be covered during that walk. So if you are not able to cover Virupaksha Temple on day 1, you can cover Virupaksha Temple on day 3. On day 4, still it's not over. There are many more. Matanga Hill, the trek up the hill, which is better done in the morning, early morning, or late in the evening. Early morning is better so that you don't have the risk of getting dark. Achyutaraya Temple on the eastern side of Matanga Hill, amazing temple. Malyavanta Temple, where Malyavanta Cave, Rama and Lakshmana stayed during some time, and Ganagati Jain Temple, we talked about it. That is by and large intact. Bhima's Gate, Patabhirama Temple, the absolutely marvelous temple in Kamalapura. Anandashena Temple, which is near Malpangudi, and Malpangudi Shiva Temple itself. So this 4-day kind of itinerary will keep you quite busy, quite engaged, quite hectic. But if you think you can stay with it, you could do that. Otherwise, I would encourage you to do this over 2 visits. So now that is what I just wanted to share with you. If you have any questions, you can either type it on the chat box or you can unmute yourself and ask any questions. Please go to Hampi at least once in a lifetime. It's a place that is worth going at least once a lifetime. And once you go there, probably you will go there again. You may not be able to limit Hampi to 1 visit. And when you are in Hampi, probably you can, if you have a vehicle, you could cover Badami, Pattadakal, and Aihole as well, which is around 140, 150 kilometers away. So you may take a couple of days, go to Badami and Pattadakal, stay over in Badami. Next day, go to Aihole, and then come back to Bangalore, I am saying. So if you are going to Mumbai, if you are coming from Mumbai, you could just drive back to Mumbai northwards. So from Hampi on the way to Mumbai, probably you could look at stopover in Badami and look Badami, Pattadakal, Aihole, and then go to Mumbai. So if you are going from Bangalore, it is 340 kilometers north of Bangalore. And there are attractions on the way too, like, Haveri, few temples that are more than 1,000 years old, Bankapura, which is again 1,000 years old, or Chitradurga Fort. It's an amazing one. And then you can go to Hampi. Or if you want to drive through Hyderabad Road and Anandapur and take a detour from Anandapur to Bellary and Hampi, you can look at some of the temple options in Bellary on the way to Hampi. So multiple options. Hampi is a place to go. So thank you for being with me on this trip. So 3 more, posts to go on this 30 episode series. Possibly we will have a season 2 where we would be able to explore other more attractions of Hampi. Yeah. Thank you very much. So thank you for being there.